Alright, time for the answers portion of the Q&A. I gave you guys an extra day in case you wanted to squeeze in a few extra questions. Or at least that's the excuse I'm going with. So I guess I may as well just get right on to it so I can hopefully make this one video and it doesn't extend into two. I'm basically just going to read the questions and then I am going to answer them, hopefully in a not really long time. But some may require a long time. I don't know. I've only looked over a few of the questions beforehand. Anyways, let's get started. Okay. First question. What are some things which anime typically does which you think they should stop doing? Making bad shows? I don't know. There's generally no real practices that I disapprove of because, as I usually say about execution being everything, you can even take, you know, a common practice and put a twist on it, and all of a sudden it's good. Like, the execution is really all that matters with pretty much everything, even stuff that seems like it's become, you know, common or bad or boring. It entirely depends on how you do it. I don't think I can think of actually a single practice that is inherently bad. At least not off the top of my head, or nothing that really constantly bothers me. Like, I'd actually have to think about something. So there's nothing really on my mind that really constantly bothers me. So I feel like that's kind of a cop-out answer, though. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't really do anything right now that's bothering. Oh, I guess if anything, I could come up with something. I wish that the winter seasons would stop being so shit, because generally what happens is all the good shows come out during fall. Some of them are even in summer, and then they've used up all their juice pretty much. And then winter season is always for like how long now? The last like 3, 4, maybe even longer years. It has just been a really bad season. Like, the only shows that's not Inferno Cop that I'm watching this season is just to laugh at them. Like, that's how bad it is. So I wish winter season would stop sucking. I guess that's something. But otherwise, what I said before still applies. Any practice can be, you know, made good. So there's not anything I can really think of that's constantly bothering me. Next question. What do you define as anime? I'm very literal about it. Basically, animation that's done in Japan is an anime. That's pretty much it. Oh, you followed up with your question with, for example, you don't think Sonic X or Pokemon fall under the anime genre. Because, anime is usually typical high school girls and superpowers. I wouldn't even necessarily say that. I wouldn't really agree with that. Like, some of the most well-known and respected anime don't really even have to do with high school girls or superpowers. Like, I guess Death Note technically had to do with school, but it wasn't school girls, it was school guys. Or a school guy. L wasn't exactly in school, was he? Cowboy Bebop? That didn't really have to do with any of those at all. But, anyways, the question is about what I define as anime. So, that's my answer. Basically, any animation that's done in Japan, and pretty much published and shown in Japan. Because with American cartoons, generally what it is there are very, very, very few shows that are actually done as the animation in America. Generally, they're outsourced to Korean animation studios, and then sometimes they'll copy the style of animation, like, for example, Avatar: The Last Airbender copied a lot of anime styles as far as animation goes. But regardless, it was done, you know, it was outsourced to Korea, so it's not really an anime. It's still a cartoon. I guess maybe we should think of a word for animation done in Korea too, even though it's outsourced for American shows. But anyways, that's my definition of anime. Basically, any animation done in Japan for the most part. Moving on. Why aren't you famous yet? Even though I really like to hear your thoughts on an anime and your humor. Well, first of all, thank you for thinking I should be famous. And appreciating my sense of humor. So many people tell me my jokes are so bad. Fun fact, I don't actually intentionally insert humor into my reviews or things I write. I just kind of let it flow. And if any of the jokes just kind of come out of that, that's just how they come out. I'm not saying I'm not trying to be funny at parts when I'm writing things, but I don't try and force the humor. Like, if I get to a part and I think I should say something funny, or if I just think of something funny in my head, then I do it. Like, I'm not constantly thinking of jokes to make. Which is why a lot of my jokes are actually pretty bad. I'd agree. But yeah, I'm not famous because I started like 3 months ago. The only thing that famous doesn't imply quality. Famous, well, actually, that's a really fucking arrogant thing to say. Not that I'm like the best person ever at this stuff, but literally speaking, famous doesn't imply quality at all. Literally, famous just means popular. And I'm not popular because not that many people have seen me, and not that many people, you know, really care. The video that went the most viral for me, even though it wasn't that viral, was my Tonari video, which pissed off most of the shoujo fan base. So that was probably not the best video to go rampant on YouTube. Because, you know, people can't accept opinions, apparently. Don't mess with the shoujo fan base. They will defend their shows if their life depends on it. But I don't know. I don't even think I'd ever really become famous because I'm so opinionated that I'm bound to piss people off at some part or another. So I would never really be able to have a constant, you know, source of people coming and going, yeah, this guy's cool. Simply because of the way I do things and because I'm so opinionated. Because the thing is, I'm not saying I have the best opinions ever. If anything, I would say that I'm just good at proving why I think the way I do. I'm not proving why a show is bad or not. I'm just proving my own opinion. And a lot of people, as I've seen in the comments, seem to not understand this. I'm not saying you should agree with what I'm saying or what I'm saying is fact. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. Like you could disagree with me. You can see in a lot of the comments, like almost every video I have has someone disagreeing with me, except I think Horror Musako Wandering Sun Review doesn't, and Magi, but that only came out like a week ago. But in all the other videos, there's like at least one person that disagrees with me and gives like an actual opinion on like why they like it. And you'll notice that I don't say anything like, no, you're wrong. Like, I'll kind of counter their points for their points for a show. Like, I'll be like, oh, you know, I don't disagree with this point, or I'll give you that point, you know, and that kind of stuff. Like, I don't have a problem with people having a different opinion, but a lot of people don't seem to understand this, and the way I prove why I like something, they kind of think I'm saying it's a fact and the show is objectively good or bad. There are good and bad practices, sure, but the thing is you can choose what bothers you enough about a show to not like it and what doesn't. Like even some of my favorite shows, I know that there's problems with them, it's just that those problems don't bother me that much. So I don't, you know, I don't think enough people would understand that these are just my opinions in order to, like, grow the kind of fan base. That's where I'm going with. Wow, that was a long answer. I think this is setting the tone for how this is gonna go. As you can see, I like to talk a lot. I go on tangents. Sorry. I'm just gonna move on to the next question. What is your all-time favorite anime? This will give me a short one. The Shakugan no Shana series. That is my favorite series. It is what got me into anime, and it is still my favorite series after it has ended with the 3rd season. I'd still say I like the 3rd season the most, even though I kind of split the fan base. It went 50-50 practically on people liking it or not. I loved it. I thought it was the best season. But, you know, opinions. So, Shakugan no Shana series. That's my favorite. Next question. What is the square root of pancake? Pancake batter. Okay, that was a bad joke. I don't fucking know. I failed calculus 2, man. I don't know what the square root of pancake is. Shit. The world will never know. That's it. Alright, next question. Which animes have you watched? Jesus Christ, I am not listing every single show that I have watched. I saw the question ahead of time, so I have my list here. I can tell you how many I've watched. I have watched about 200 shows. I have actually at 199. It might actually be 200. I'm not sure if my list is up to date. I may have forgotten something, but right now I'm at 199 completed shows. Yeah. I'm not gonna list every single fucking one. Next question. What do you think of the moe? I'm not sure why you worded it like that. Maybe this question means something other than what I think it means. But as for moe, how do I word my thoughts on moe? It's generally not very good. I don't really like it, but not because it's inherently bad. Like, I can see ways it could be used well, because literally it just means, you know, characters being cute. Like, you know, that's not necessarily inherently a bad thing. The problem is when you try to sell a show based on that, because there's no substance there. Like, there's characters being cute, and apparently that gives the show substance. It doesn't. I mean, it can define a character, I guess. But the thing with a character with something like cuteness is it's so subjective that, you know, it's not even gonna, like, it doesn't work as you know, a selling point, really. I mean, I guess it kind of does. It's selling fucking ridiculously well on shows that use it, but, you know, so many people have different ideas of what makes something cute that it's you know, I don't know, like, my point is that I don't generally like it, but that's because it's generally used very badly. It can be used well. You can make a character cute, and, you know, not really have it be the selling point of it. But I guess, you know, the entire label of moe is when it becomes a selling point, then it is moe. But you know, there's nothing wrong with a character being cute. It's just the way it's used as a selling point that I don't like. So I guess that's my answer.